I had a little different setup before, but it felt a bit too formal and structured. So let's turn it around, and I'm just talking without a script today with my cozy blanket. And let's talk about a topic that has been on my mind for a while, which is having a creative hobby outside of my regular 9 to 5. And I want to talk about this topic today of having a creative hobby or any sort of hobby outside of 9 to 5, because I think too many of us shoot down our ideas before even trying it. I also tend to back off on my ideas because I have this thought that because I work a regular 9 to 5 and I love planning, I love scheduling, love structure, that being creative is actually quite difficult for me. But today I want to talk about why being creative is a skill that can be improved on, and why having some sort of hobby outside of your regular work hours can be pretty fulfilling and pretty fun. I think first we need to talk about the importance of remembering your why you want to have a creative hobby, because that will be the thing that grounds you through all of the ups and downs. It will be the thing that helps you move through your hectic schedule at work and also still making time for it. I can tell you one hobby that I tried to pick up last year, which was watercolor painting, but all of my supplies have been collecting dust for almost a year. I feel so bad. I think it's not because I didn't enjoy the process of watercolor painting. It was whenever I did it in my head, I was just thinking about like how I was not good enough at painting, at drawing, and I didn't know the fundamentals of watercolor. So that really hindered me from wanting to try it out more, and I also did not have a compelling reason to keep at it. However, this year I started this little YouTube channel because the things that I want to do with this channel really align with my values and what I want to do outside of work, which is to connect with other people and to create a relaxing, educational, and reflective space online. And one of the most important things for me when it comes to work or doing something is learning new skills. And this is really filling that bucket because it's helping me to learn how to present myself and also learn how to video edit. Also, just talking to people, connecting with people. In my day job, I write a lot, so I also want to work on this muscle of talking to other people, connecting with others, so which is why I'm here. So before starting something new, I think it's important to know a couple of reasons that resonate with you, but also not to overthink them. It's important to have that intention, but also try to move to the stage where you're actually doing it and trying it out to see if you like it. Once you have some ideas, don't be the first person to say no to yourself. And I know that in this market, it can feel like all of the ideas have already been tested, everything has already been there on the internet, but all of those things might have already exist, but those ideas have not been done by you with your own lived experiences. So don't be the first one to say no to your ideas, because those ideas, they don't need to be groundbreaking for them to be useful to other people. For example, for me, I always struggle with coming up with what to eat in the morning. So if you are really good at meal prepping, especially meal prepping like cozy Asian inspired breakfast, I would love to watch something like that. Or if you really good at just packing a carry-on, I would also appreciate those tips, because as someone who constantly overpacks, I really just need to like learn a system to just squish all of my stuff into a carry-on. And I'm traveling in the next few days, so my luggage really needs some help. So you see, these ideas can be something really mundane and very, very everyday life, but they can still be really useful to other people. And for me, if I have never started filming and just keep delaying this process, I would never have known how much work goes into creating content, and just like kudos to everyone who is doing it consistently. I mentioned previously, one of the very big pillars for me when it comes to personal development is learning new skills. So if I have not created this channel, my video my video editing skills would stay as the same as it was before. And I'm not even doing crazy edits right now, but I could see my process being much more streamlined compared to my first video, for example. And if I have never acted on my ideas, which for example right now is talking about the series of trying new things, I would not have reflected on my job search year last year as something in a more positive light, because it was a truly difficult process. But making the series helps me to realize that the skills that I learned back then, even though they seem irrelevant or seem very technical, they can still be present in my life now. My point is, don't be the first one to shoot down your ideas, because again, they don't need to be something like crazy extravagant for them to be of value to you and of value to other people. Also, doing something creative doesn't mean to completely throw out structure. Actually, having a system and structure really helps. I must admit that I'm still at the stage of figuring out my work schedule and also having the time and also the energy to do something outside of work. For me, what is helping is blocking some time after work during the week. For example, 1 to 3 hours after work on some days to work on my scripting, planning for this channel, and also some time over the weekend so that I can work on this. Because doing something creative and doing it consistently requires some sort of backbone to know that this time will be the time that I work on this task. It will really help you to know that that is you're supposed to do, and not stress relaxing, that like stressing when you're not supposed to be relaxing and wanting to relax when you're supposed to work. And I think that one thing that I'm struggling with sometimes is feeling like my skill doesn't really match with my vision or how I want things to be yet. And that's because I need to also remind myself that creativity is a skill that can be improved on over time. So that's why, like, for each video I would write down some technical goals for myself. For example, like making different thumbnails to see which one would work best, or trying out a different editing style, trying out a different presenting style, so that I continuously improve on those skills. And knowing that this is a process also helps me to just like calm down a little when I feel like what I'm doing is not fully matching with how I want it to be. But knowing that these things will be improved over time and I'm actively working on them also helps me to motivate myself to continue on making of these videos. And while I really value system and structure, I feel like there needs to be a giant banner here that says to also be compassionate and kind to yourself. It's not easy to just start something that is difficult, as challenging, and you may not always have enough time, enough energy to do the things that you want. So also remember to be kind to yourself. And that means that not using all of your free time just to work on your hobby, but also make time to just like chill, just be horizontal, be relaxed, and watch that K-drama you've been wanting to watch. And having those dosage of relaxation, of real relaxation, where you just don't do work, and also like blocking out time to work on the things that you want to do, are really important to make this habit something consistent and something that you can stick to. The last thing we want to do is to add something more stressful, more hectic to your already very busy 9 to 5 life, right? And I think related to being kind to yourself is to remember that the stakes are not as high as we may think. Or in other words, it's not that serious. And I know that in this current day and age, we may feel a lot of pressure to have a side hustle outside of our 9 to 5. And as someone who lives in a high cost of living city, and as someone who thinks a lot about the future and budgeting and money, I think it's equally important to have a creative hobby just for the fun of it, because having that pressure to monetize your hobby right away can be really difficult to just keep going when you're not seeing the results that you want at the very beginning. Because at this stage, what is most important for you is to experiment with different ideas. If you're growing an audience, it's to test out different topics and different editing and video styles so that you know what you're capable of in terms of your skills, and also to develop this confidence to talk to a camera when you're not used to it, and also to use this time to learn as much as you can, to continuously put yourself out there and to gain feedback, if what you're doing is creating content, I mean. But other hobbies like cooking, crocheting, dancing, all of those can be an end in itself, which means that they can be fun and creative and relaxing for yourself, and that's already super valid. I'll also admit that, at least for me, having a hobby and sticking with it also requires some financial and psychological stability as well. It really creates that safety to act on your ideas, knowing that you have something to fall back on. Because it's so important to remember that trying things out because they're fun, because they're interesting, because they're exciting, is already completely valid. And I had to remind myself that the stakes are not that high recently when I went to do ceramic painting. You know, when you paint ceramics, the colors that you see will not be the same colors after the ceramic has been baked. It will be more vibrant. So sometimes the colors, for example, pink, it will actually turn out to be red. Besides the color change, ceramic painting is such a trust the process activity, because you need to outline your whatever you're drawing in pencil and then repaint it with the paint, so that it will actually show up after it's being baked. And for me, I wanted to do something a bit more personal, so I drew different combinations of my cats. But I remember that I was doing my outline so poorly that the entire time I had this thought that, oh no, I'm not good at arts and craft. This is watercolor painting 2.0 again. And I was looking over to my partner, who was drawing this witchy cat who was drinking wine, which is a vibe in itself, but he was having a blast. And at first I thought it was because he was already really good at painting, so he found this activity probably like a breeze, but actually he really was enjoying what he was doing and just having some fun with it and not taking it too seriously. So when I was taking my mug over and showing him, I was like, yo, my outlines sucks. He reminded me that it's okay, it's only your first time, and we can go back here again to paint some more mugs if you want. And that simple reminder that there are other chances to improve on this skill just helped me relax almost instantly, knowing that this doesn't have to be like my one and only chance. The point of starting out as a beginner is actually being kind of cringe and being kind of awkward about your skills, knowing that as long as you keep at it, they will be better over time. So to sum this all up, don't be the first person to say no to your ideas before you try them out. Whether it's starting something new or trying a new hobby, give yourself the space and time to experiment with your ideas and see where they take you. Remember why you want to start all of this in the first place, because it would be the thing that helps ground you when you have a hectic schedule coming up. And as long as you keep showing up for yourself, you're definitely on the right track. If you find this video reminds you of a hobby that you want to try or pick up again, share it in the comments and don't forget to hit like. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.